Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Raised by Narcissists. In today's episode, my dad wanted me to be a construction worker, refused to help me with university. I just got accepted to a Doctor of Pharmacy, PharmD, program all on my own. I found out my mom talked mad shit about my wedding behind my back. I just got my master's degree, and it's the first time I've ever been proud of myself. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My dad wanted me to be a construction worker, refused to help me with university. I just got accepted to a Doctor of Pharmacy, PharmD, program all on my own. My dad wanted me to be a construction worker, and after high school that is what I did. I hated it and got myself fired after 6 months. He was severely angry with me and said I was good for nothing and going nowhere. I took a job cutting meat for $12 an hour and saved over $10,000 in 1 year and went to university. He accused me of thinking I was better than him. He barely passed high school and has no post-secondary and refused to give me a single penny to help. He makes over $100,000 a year and had no debt and no mortgage at the time before my mom left him. I paid for my first 3 years of school in cash, working 20 hours a week while in school collecting my pharmacy prerequisites, and I worked 2 full-time jobs each summer to save up enough to pay tuition in cash. At one point I was $2,000 in debt, working 30 hours a week, taking an extremely heavy course load, suffering from IBS and complications from that, non-stop rectal bleeding, and still received no help. He actively tried to sabotage me by providing me with no space to study at home and emotionally, physically, and verbally abused me and my mother at home. I would be studying for finals and he would ask me to rewire the basement for him and go completely ballistic on me when I would say I don't have time, but I'll gladly help after finals. Apparently not dropping my studies to install a 3-way switch is disrespectful. After my mother divorced him and moved out in September 2017, the abuse got even worse. I was getting my last 3 prerequisite classes to apply to pharmacy school, and he would abuse me every day, sabotage me, watch me struggle to afford to feed myself and pay for gas to get to school and offer no help, etc. I am 23, and I have grown a lot of gray hair in the last 3 years from stress. One night while I was playing Xbox after writing a midterm, he comes down and starts screaming in my face, and going completely ballistic again for no reason, threatening to beat the sh*t out of me. He is a 6 feet 2 inches 250-pound Hulk and I'm 5 feet 9 inches 200-pound man that is fairly muscular but nowhere near capable of defending myself from someone like him, and he would not stop threatening me and screaming in my face. I threatened to call the cops on him, and he started freaking out even more, so I drove away in the night and stayed at my maternal grandparents' house overnight. I skipped school the next day and waited for him to go to work, came home with my grandpa's SUV, and loaded all of my belongings up and moved out. He has tried to contact me dozens of times now by sending random pictures of things, random messages like "what's up," but never any apologies or admittance of wrongdoing. I have not replied to any messages once. My last memory of him is backing out of my driveway, calling him a piece of sh*t and disappearing into the night. I finished my last prerequisite in April and applied to pharmacy school, and this week I found out I was accepted. I have done this almost entirely on my own with absolutely zero support. My dad just refused, and my mom just isn't capable since she doesn't make a lot of money. I am the first person in my family to ever go to university. I am 23, and have a buttload of gray hair from everything I had to go through. This is the most proud I have ever been of myself. Going nowhere my ass. I found out my mom talked mad shit about my wedding behind my back. I've been married for 5 years now to my second husband. My first wedding was pretty much exactly what my mom wanted. From the dress to the colors, to the decorations, the guest list, the church, even who I married. My mom pushed to move the date up. She controlled every aspect of that wedding. We ended up getting a divorce, and a few years later I found my husband, and we decided to get married. Since it was his first wedding, and since I actually felt like I loved this guy, and I wanted to have a real wedding, We did the whole thing up. I wore a white dress, and I had my son walk me down the aisle. We stayed at a cabin in the woods, and we had the reception at a really nice lodge. All of the decorations and cake were made the way we wanted. This wedding was perfect, full of love, and we poured our love into it. Recently I found out through my sister that my mom talked to crap about the wedding the whole time behind my back. She was saying things like, who does she think she is, having a second wedding like this? And why do they have to rent a cabin? It's not like anything new or different is going to happen inside of a cabin that hasn't already happened in their bedroom, and I don't understand why they have to have the wedding way the hell out in bumfuck Egypt. Our wedding was 30 minutes from town, out in a metro park, and anything that's not right down the street from her she considers far away. Now that I look back at the wedding, I realized that my mom didn't lift one finger. She didn't help prepare any of the food, she didn't help put up any of the decorations, she didn't stay at the cabin with us bridesmaids and my mother-in-law the night before the wedding. She showed up the day of the wedding fully dressed with makeup on and hair done. She didn't help at all or prepare anything with us for the day. She showed up ready for the wedding, and was escorted to her seat and sat down. She didn't say anything negative to me about the wedding except for maybe the location. It really bothers me now that I know she complains so much about my wedding behind my back. My whole first wedding was essentially for her, and the wedding that I got to plan myself with the love of my life is what she didn't like. This has sparked me to think back to my bridal showers, my baby showers, all my birthdays. She never did anything or lifted a finger for any of those events. She showed up ready to go and did not help at all. How could she do this? It's got to be jealousy. It's got to be because she wasn't the star of the show, so she didn't want to have anything to do with it. My mom tells the story about her wedding day, how her mother-in-law, my dad's mom, showed up in a wheelchair and didn't lift a finger. She basically hated her mother-in-law for showing up in a wheelchair and not contributing at all while her parents did all the kitchen work, etc. My mom says that the only day my dad's mom was in a wheelchair was her wedding day, and it was because she didn't have to lift a finger if she was in the wheelchair. Now, I kind of feel the same way. Even without the wheelchair, I feel like my mom did the same thing to me, and it really hurts. I've had to do pretty much everything myself my whole life, but these big events that she was supposed to be there for me, she totally flaked out, and was a narcissist about the whole thing. Anybody else's mom not give a sh*t about their big days/events in their life? I just got my master's degree, and it's the first time I've ever been proud of myself. Yes, I did this in spite of what my family did to me. I chose a difficult degree. My secret motivation was that I want to have enough power in my life to feel like no one can ruin it. I came out of the fog in grad school. I had PTSD symptoms. It was incredibly inconvenient timing. Of course, my parents continued contributing to my stress levels as I dealt with my own battle that they don't even know anything about because they don't care about my struggles. I also dealt with a predatory psychopathic advisor while in school. I was vulnerable during this time. I had finally figured out how bad abuse was for me. But I still stayed and got yelled at and put in stupid situations. It was insane, honestly. It's not okay what goes on in some parts of academia. But I finished. I'm done now. It overwhelms me because I'm so free. I made a promise to myself in grad school. This was the last time I'd ever let myself stay in an abusive situation. I know sometimes it will be hard, but I have to keep that promise. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.